on the 1 yard line with their backs against the wall.
This ain't a game to me. If you think it's a game, get the f*** off of this box.
Look at this. Oh, they're rushing here.
Hello, everybody. Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Sealem.
Cody, we are back at it today. There was some better news on the football front. We found out that a few guys are staying.
Right. Yep. So a couple of guys, obviously, like most part, the transfer portal has been not too kind for Iowa State. We've all seen the departures of Rocco Becht and Jontas Williams, and I think most recently Jeremiah Cooper announced his departure from the program and plans to enter the transfer portal. So that's on the departure side of things, and we already have talked about the other departures that have already been mentioned in previous episodes. But we did receive a couple of guys that are planning to stay. First, Keen Roshop, a backup tight end who played some minutes behind Benjamin Bramer, Gabe Burkle. He's got intentions to stay. Jack Dorn as well, another tight end, is also planning to stay. And early today, so far, we have the biggest person that's staying. This is probably the most important position we have staying. The local product out of Southeast Polk, Connor Mobley, has announced he will be staying with the Iowa State Cyclones. So that is going to be at least one of the quarterbacks in that quarterback room that is planning to stay. Announced it around just a little before 10 o'clock on earlier today. His tweet read, "Ames has always been home. Let's get to work." So this is big for Iowa State. Obviously, with the departure of Rocco Becht, you didn't know how the quarterback situation was going to be. Was Mansky or Mobley going to leave? And it's good to know that at least one of those guys is planning to stay.
Yeah, man. I was watching. I really, really like that tape. If you go have a chance, and listeners, if you have a chance, go and watch the highlight tape from Trey Lance from the 2019 season, and you're gonna fall in love with that offense, especially with Connor Mobley's running ability. And if we can get Mansky back too, that is gonna be a type of offense where it can be very, very explosive with that running game with the Maryland eye, and it's a pro style offense. You're under center, play action, so lots of play action, lots of zone read. So it's gonna be a fun offense to watch, and if we can have Mobley, man, and he comes into his own, man, watch out for Iowa State.
Yep. And then you mentioned the pro style offense, and one of the guys Connor Mobley tagged in his tweet was Tyler Roll, who we knew this about 2 weeks ago that he was planning to come to Iowa State, but the football team did officially put pen to paper earlier today and officially announced Tyler Roll as the latest coach to sign for Iowa State. He's going to be the new offensive coordinator, and as mentioned before, he previously served as the running backs coach in the 2024 season, where he was coaching Carson Hanks at Abu Sama, and he's currently serving and will finish up serving as the tight ends coach for the Detroit Lions after the end of their season. And I'm not sure the Lions will make the playoffs, so that will be something to figure out. But yeah, Iowa State officially put pen to paper that Coach Tyler Roll will be the offense coordinator for Iowa State.
Yes, and then here is a video to talk about what type of offense that he's going to want to run. Brother, I am pumped.
Yeah. I just imagine now it's going to come to fruition, just the meme of run through a motherfucker's face. That's what it sounds like Coach Roll wants to just let the running backs do. Just run through a motherfucker's face, and I love it. I always love a good running back that can run north to south, downhill, and just kind of like a running back kind of like Derrick Henry, where he just shoots the gap and can has some built. Now, granted, Derrick Henry is a specimen, and quite frankly, guys like that don't come often, but we can get a running style like his where you just go north to south and just hit a lane and just shoot it. That would be beneficial for the way, and I think that'll be a good style of offense that Iowa State wants to run, and I'm very excited for that.
Sorry, yes. I think it's going to be a lot of kids where we're going to get from like the upper Midwest and also around the Midwest, like mainly Great Lakes, probably like a lot of Illinois, a lot of Wisconsin, Minnesota, definitely a lot of the Dakotas and Iowa, getting those hard nosed type of kids that are willing to lay their bodies on the line and play a brand of smash mouth football.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing that we gotta talk about. We're gonna talk about now just the excitement for football. If you've seen a lot of Cyclone fans have been watching the Washington State game, and I will say, man, just the way that their four down linemen are able to get to the quarterback. I'm really excited about this 4-2-5 scheme with Jesse Bobbitt, man, because this defense is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the defense right now. I mean, Washington State right now is in a bowl against Utah State. Now, granted, Utah State isn't exactly the most potent offense.
Sure.
Oh, and yeah, okay. So it looks like Utah State is finally giving up a touchdown, but it had been what 3 quarters or so almost without giving up a touchdown. They've held Utah State to about 100 yards of offense total.
And I think they have about like 3 or 4 sacks today. I think.
I would Bleav that too. You've got just a couple of you look at the sacks. Yeah, 3 sacks, and 1 interception, 5 tackles for loss. Looks like 3 QB hits, 5 passes defended. Yeah, they've only and they've also haven't let Utah State control the ball. They've only given up 15 minutes of time possession compared to 24 for Washington State. And the third down conversion rate thus far is Utah State's only converted 1 for 11 on third down.
That's awesome. So this defense can also get up off the field. And then one thing I also like is that the corners like to play man on man instead of playing like zone.
Mm-hmm.
I always like when corners can play man. Like zone is good if you know you're going to be playing against a lot of teams that throw. But like if you believe that that man on man that your men are better than their men, like I like man on man defense rather than zone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I think that this bowl game, and obviously we get Toledo tomorrow, and look at some of their players. Really excited of what this potentially what this defense can be. Because number 98, I think, is in the portal. Number 10, who had one of the sacks, is in the portal. Anthony Polano, who was a freshman, I think, number 41 on Washington State defense, is in the portal too. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys we can get. We're going to have to wait and see if we see any of these names ink pen to paper on January 2nd.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about the transfer portal real quick. Colorado State tight end Rocky Beers is in the transfer portal, and you know how much that would make so much sense in Ames, Iowa.
Yeah, that sounds like a Cyclone name, man. Like it makes sense, bro, because like if he comes to Iowa State, he is going to already get beer deals like right off the jump, dude.
We might collaborate with like Back Pocket Brewing, like you know how, like they have the what was it, the Cyclone Power Ale or whatever. I know they have that, and then don't know how much this will affect like Ames Lager. That would be kind of funny. Rocky
It
Beers
would.
with Ames Lagers.
That'd be pretty funny.
You know, somewhere Jamie Pollard might be quivering his boots thinking about Rocky Beers.
Yeah, no.
He might actually, like, no disrespect, but I think somewhere in his mind is like, oh crap, man. The fans are gonna be like, if the fans weren't asking for beer in stadiums already, they might be asking for more if Iowa State's able to sign Rocky Beers to the roster.
Get a nice ice cold Coors Light. I don't understand. It was a slant. It was a layup for you to get a partnership with Coors, and you're in Colorado.
Yeah. Well, now if he goes to the Midwest, it might have to be Busch.
It's probably gonna be Busch, yeah.
Or somehow like I don't know if you do Miller's, but like there's a good amount of like, us Iowans, we know nothing except corn and beer, so it's wide open.
Exactly. The NIL deals basically sell themselves.
Just like visioning the just Rocky Beers, and it's just literally his face on a Busch Light can.
See, you already came up with the marketing, bro. That's all we need to do.
Yeah, but yeah, that January 2nd date, that's going to be the one that I think a lot of Iowa State fans are going to be looking to the most, because like that's going to be when you should be expecting a lot of these additions to come in.
Yeah, because right now, like, obviously, like, it's sort of like a painful time right now where you see all the departures of your favorite players that you used to know, and basically you're gonna some of the old faces you'll see, but some of them you'll never see again.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, unfortunately, that's the reality of what college football is today. We're going to be turning over a whole new roster, but I know that this team is going to be fight like hell to give us a quality product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, also just in general, the transfer portal, like there's a lot of names that are coming out too, not just related to Iowa State, possibly, but just in general.
Yeah, like Austin Romaine from K State, he left to Portland. He was an
Damn.
all Big 12 linebacker for them.
Yeah.
It's
Dang,
just
if we had him for this past season, we really could have had the BLT sandwich defense.
I'm saying, and Austin Romaine played well in the Ireland game.
Oh yeah, he was really good. It's crazy how Ireland kind of made both teams' years disappointing in one way or another.
It's so that Ireland curse is so real, dude.
Mm-hmm. Because I think Georgia Tech didn't when they beat Florida State. I don't remember if Georgia Tech did any better than the two teams that just played did, like Iowa State and Kansas
No,
State.
I think where'd they go? Well, like 6-6, something like that,
Yeah.
or 5-7.
Yeah, but hey, they did spark the beginning of the downfall of Georgia Tech in that year. Oh, they actually went 9 and wait, no, that's this past year. Hold on, let me make sure this is correct. 7-6 with a bowl win.
Right? Yeah, they did go 6-6. Yeah, you're right.
So yeah, all right.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, mention bowl games. I guess while we're still on the topic of football, gotta talk quickly about the first round of the college football playoffs.
Oh yeah, recap that.
I
Yeah.
wanted your take on like how the first round went.
Well, it was sort of like what everybody expected. We saw some blowouts like we expected. Like Ole Miss actually was a lot more in sync than I was actually surprised by how well they played. I wasn't sure how they were going to respond without a coaching staff, even though they had the coaching staff of them.
Mine is Lane Kiffin, but you know how it
Yeah,
was. Like, could the new guy, like, could he maintain what Lane Kiffin did at Ole Miss? And well, by this game, yes.
yeah. And one comment I do want to make. What an epic collapse by Oklahoma. Like they forgot to show up in the second half. I thought for sure that Oklahoma was going to run away with it because that offense couldn't do a diddly squat in the first half, and they just exploded in the second half, and they pulled away.
I mean, forget the second half. The second quarter, Oklahoma had
True.
like what a 17-0 lead in the second quarter, and then they give up 17 straight right before halftime, and then they get outscored 20. What was it, 27-7? By the
Yes.
end of it, that is ridiculous. Like you could, like Oklahoma, come on. Like I know your offense was gonna do much, but holy cow, you're up 17-0. You couldn't do anything with it. And that's pretty disappointing. And you're at home too.
Yeah, that was the surprising thing is that all this happened and it happened so fast too. I'm like, golly.
Yeah, once the floodgates open, like for Alabama, it just never stopped. I mean, that thing was a literal crimson tide. Like how they
Yes,
came up with the name. That's literally what it was.
exactly.
Well, at least that game had points. A game that didn't really have that many points. Miami, Texas A&M.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, this was just a lack of execution by A&M. But you also sort of wonder, like, if if Colin Klein's head was truly in this game. Obviously, now he is in Manhattan,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean, it's a sucky way to end to go off. But Miami gets a huge one on the road in College Station, and now it sets up. We have a pretty juicy quarterfinals. We have Ole Miss versus Georgia, a rematch of the classic in between the hedges. That is a Sugar Bowl, so that's going to be probably half and half with Ole Miss fans and Georgia fans. Miami, Ohio State. Ohio State the comes back to the Cotton Bowl, a place where they won in the semis the year previous. We have just a crimson matchup in the Rose Bowl. Alabama, Indiana, man, this one is going to be a fun one. I can't wait to watch this one.
Yep. I think this will probably be probably the best. I don't know. This one, it's either gonna be this or the Sugar Bowl. Maybe like the best matchup of
I
the
agree.
playoff, no doubt. But Miami Ohio State could secretly that's a sleeper matchup, I think. And then we've also got in the Orange Bowl, Oregon taking on Texas Tech. Texas Tech, we'll get to see them for the first time since the Big 12 title game and having about a month off. I'm curious to see what that does for Texas Tech compared to Oregon. But I mean, Oregon being 1.5 point favorite, I think it's very interesting to see. But this is for Texas Tech to prove that the Big 12 can, in fact, compete in the playoffs and actually win in the playoffs, because Texas Tech wins this game, the perception of the league gets better.
Yeah, no, and I was gonna say, Cody, that like the reputation of the Big 12 falls on how Texas Tech does. If Texas Tech is able to beat Oregon, a top Big Ten team, and make it to the semis, to the Peach Bowl, man, that would be huge. Especially with two of the teams that I want to do well in this Texas Tech and Indiana, a possible matchup in the semis in the Peach Bowl, man, we're get strapped in, guys, because the playoff is really getting real right now. Really excited for that Ole Miss Georgia matchup. But I think the Oregon Texas Tech one has a chance to be underrated, mainly with Dante Moore. How is he going to fare against that elite defense and that D line that Texas Tech has? That's going to be a very, very fun matchup. Definitely something where we're going to break down probably next week once we get closer.
Yeah. So, yeah. First round was, I mean, it was kind of a. It was, I don't know if it was just me. I was expecting better out of that Alabama Oklahoma matchup, and it looked decent, but just Oklahoma could not do anything in the second half, so kind of disappointing. And then the G5 matches went kind of how I expected it to.
Yeah.
They were gonna probably be out of their own league, and I mean that comes to another conversation that I have. Like, I'm tired of people like using those two games like reason why the G5 shouldn't be in. Now, I will say there are years where the G5 does not deserve to be in the playoff.
Yeah.
And that's because like they just aren't good. I think this year the G5 wasn't really that good. But last year we had a Boise State team that was good. They were in the top They were in the top 10.
They're in the
pretty
top
much
10
all
and they
year.
end up getting a top 4 seed and they got to buy.
Yeah. So in cases like that, you do got to reward that. But there are a lot of cases where the G5 doesn't necessarily earn it, and that's where I think the revision for the playoff can go. That's a whole conversation for a different day.
And I mean, we can get into it right now. This is something that I wanted to talk about because, and I wanted to bring up a proposition to you. First, I just want to just admit to the facts because a lot of these talking heads are basically just trying to program it into people's heads, saying that these G5 teams don't deserve to be in it here at all. But I feel like we got to push back with that because where this is trending, I don't know if you heard about, and I know that you're a big soccer guy like I am too, but you remember the whole like Super League concept?
Yep, that
And
fiasco.
basically fans were a lot of soccer fans were revolting against it. I have a feeling like us as college football fans should be able to revolt against this. Unfortunately, this means that we would need participation from the other top two leagues. Unfortunately, with the way I know the sport is, everybody in those leagues are going to try to one up everybody and try to be like, haha, you're not a part of this league. So unfortunately, as much as I would love to love and everybody for everyone to band together and go against the corruption that is college football right now, like I don't think because this is a discussion we had on Twitter earlier today. And I was like, as much as I would love for the other Power Two conferences to agree with us, they're only going to be we'll focus about them. And unfortunately, it's sad to see that's where college football is headed, and then the way college football is covered and the way college football podcasts are covered, it just seems like they all really talk about the SEC and the Big Ten, and they don't really care about anybody else. And it's really starting to just piss everybody off.
And I mean, there's probably gonna be at some point where even within the Big Ten, because like not everybody in the Big Ten is going to necessarily feast on this. They're going to get to a point where it's only the top of the top, and that includes people in the SEC and the Big Ten. Do you really think that like the Alabamas, the Georgias, the Ohio States, the Oregons, do you think they want to bring along the likes of, at least in football terms, Kentucky, Mississippi State, Rutgers, and Northwestern? Do you think
Right.
they want to keep them along for the ride? No, you're going to get to a
No.
point where they're even to kick out the bottom of their own conferences and build their own thing. So just because it isn't happening to you right now doesn't mean it can't happen to you unless you're one of those top 10 to 15 brands across the country.
Hey, look, and we were a casualty of it this year. So I mean, not saying that we didn't think it would happen to us. Obviously, we all knew it was only a matter of time before it did. Obviously, we didn't think it would happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
We thought it had been down the line, but especially with this era in college football, if you, there's the haves and the have-nots, and if you don't evolve, you will die.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Cody, we're going to get off of football. Good discussion, but we're going to take a look at the AP basketball poll. First, we're going to do men's, then we'll do women's, and then we'll do a recap of the weekend that was.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So first, the cycle men have actually moved up a spot in the college or in the AP poll rankings for college basketball. They have moved officially into the top 3. They are number 3. They rise up one spot. So they didn't do anything too crazy. But, I mean, they had some things go in their favor by other teams dropping the game. So we could talk about that a little later. But the Cyclones are undefeated. They had a pretty good win over, I know, take it as a grain of salt, but a good win over Long Beach State where they pretty much just dominated that game. And, I mean, Milan Momcilovic, he's the shooter. I think he is currently, as of today, the best shooter in the country.
He's shooting at a insane, I think 56% from the field. And I think he went 4 of 7 from 3. And if you look at his 3 numbers, Cody, he has made 48 3-pointers in 12 games. He's averaging 4 3-point makes in every game this year. So, like, we're truly seeing the transformation of Milan. He's basically an elite scorer. And not just an elite scorer, but a efficient scorer at that. I think he led the team yesterday with 27 points. So, and I believe he was like 4 of 7 from 3. So, I mean, man, if we're gonna get this in conference, man, boy, watch out. And the thing is, as I continue, I think this is like sustainable. I don't think this is just a hot streak. Like, he's really, really feeling it, and man, I'm excited to see where this team goes from here.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is probably like this is the step up that he needed. Like, this is what TJ asked Milan to do this year, is to hunt a shot. And I mean, he's doing it. So you let him keep hunting for a shot. He's going to make a good amount of them. And we're probably going to need this. We need a kind of guy who we can just go to get a bucket, because that's where a lot of good teams go to great and perhaps elite, is you have that guy you can go to when you need a bucket. So it looks like Milan Momcilovic is that guy. I mean, you could probably still get some from Jefferson as well, because he can hit it from about anywhere. But he's more of like, probably like, you want him more as like the facilitator, able to move it around, and then you can say the same about Lipsy. But yeah, if you have Milan Momcilovic on a really good night and you complement that with the scoring of Jefferson, Lipsy, and Torre, that is going to be a Final Four / national champion contender team.
Definitely, man. I'm really, really excited for this winter, dude. It's going to be a fun winter. And speaking of fun, man, you want to talk about a crazy game? Let's talk about this women's game.
Yep. So, I mean, we talked about the 8 people earlier. the men, the women, they maintain their spot in the top 10. They are number 10 heading to the holiday break. But yeah, you mentioned fun. The Kansas, like that conference opener was ridiculous. Like it was back and forth, and I've got it right here. So, I mean, just this shot here, this is the epitome of it. Like unreal. And the
That's
thing,
unbelievable.
yeah, and the thing was, we hadn't exactly played our best because that game we were only shooting 2 of 8 from three. We had one from Jada Williams to kind of lift the lid off the bucket, and that was Kenzie Hare's only her second shot of the game, but it was the one that counted. So really good for her. But I mean, I'm not surprised that Audie Crooks puts up yet another 40-point game. Like unreal.
Yeah, dude, it was unbelievable. She is the best player in women's basketball right now, and it's honestly just amazing of what the men's and women's team are right now, and just a chance for how special both of these teams can be.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm reading the sports. This is what SportsCenter tweeted. Another 40-point performance from Audie Crooks, and she has posted 148 points over her last 4 games. So that shows her dominance as in the paint, just her overall dominance. And I love seeing people being like, "Well, why don't they play zone defense or like double team?"
it doesn't matter.
I think other teams have tried that. We have seen teams try that. We've seen teams to play zone defense. We've seen teams play double team, Audie Crooks, even triple team her. And it doesn't work because you have a group of shooters that can just complement her. And I love, and speaking of that, it's hilarious that like somebody was like I think somebody had like commented or something being like, well, I wish they don't really have any shooters. But then I just, classic Cyclone Larry just like pulls out this tweet here, and it's just, he just pulls out a tweet of just the stats of the 3-point shooting of the team.
What?
Yep.
We got shooters everywhere on this team, dog.
Yeah,
That's
this is the original.
insane.
Yeah, the original tweet is, "These shooters can't be this good," and it's just the fact that he pulled that, like, just casually pulls this up, like, yeah, they're that good. And I mean, that was one of our worst game. Like that was probably our worst game shooting from perimeter because we couldn't get a shot to land from the perimeter. But it just shows the respect that Kansas had because I think Coach Snyder for the Jayhawks, he knew how much of a danger those shooters are. So he decided instead of double teaming to play a single team Audie Crooks and not let those 3-point shots get open. And I mean, that was working for them basically the entire game for the most part because they did that exact game plan and it worked for about 90% of the game. But there was that stretch where Iowa State just couldn't be stopped. That got him up to 11-point lead. Kansas cuts it, ties it late, but then obviously Kenzie nails that corner 3. And yeah, even if you try to double team or zone Audie Crooks, you're not going to, if it's not her that's going to score, it's going to be either Addie Brown, Ariana Jackson, Kenzie Hare, or even Jada Williams. It could be any of those other girls because they have shown that they can score without Audie Crooks putting up the, like, we even saw it against Northern Iowa game where it was the Addie Brown show where she just took over. So at any point, like, I think that's what you need if you want to be elite in women's basketball. You need just not one elite player, but you have it with Addie Brown. And I mean, Addie Brown just, she's not getting enough respect. I mean, she was a McDonald's All-American coming into Iowa State, but it just shows that just the level that Audie Crooks is dominating, but Addie Brown is embracing it and she's enjoying Audie Crooks' success and she's getting her own as well. So it's just this women's team, if they're able to figure out that 3-point shooting, which I think was one of the things, and then, but I mean, Kansas just had a really good day shooting from the perimeter.
Right, and that's the thing, and that's the thing that was crazy is that they're not even a good 3-point shooting team. They just you sometimes have those games where they just make everything, and the fact that Iowa State weathered the storm and won on a buzzer beater is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing to note, Libby Fandel is actually an Iowa native. She comes from Cedar Rapids Xavier, and she had actually, like, her dad had sent like a recruiting tape and all the accolades to like a friend of mine. And he was like, wait, does her dad think I'm a recruiter or whatever? But crazy is, I don't think she got offered by Iowa or Iowa State, which is kind of weird.
Wow.
Yeah, so she ends up at Kansas, and then she had a really good game against us. I will.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see more out of Libby Fandel for the Jayhawks, but great win for the ladies. I mean, they stay undefeated. They stay top 10 heading into the holiday break, so the hoops are fun. And talking about fun, this past Saturday of basketball,
Man, what a weekend of action. Let's get in. Let's dive into it. Let's share your screen and let's break it down.
Yep. So Saturday, just Arizona. They maintained their number one ranking in a pretty sleepy 68-45 game, but this game was ugly in the first half. It was ugly.
Yeah, Arizona is a wagon right now. Honestly, that's why they deserve to be the number one team right now. That's why they overtook Michigan, and also they just went. It's any place anywhere they will go and beat you. They basically went into Birmingham and dismantled Alabama by like 20 something points
Mm-hmm.
last week, and
Yeah.
then like you see this San Diego State. Obviously, they're not. They've sort of been ravaged by the portal the last few years, so obviously they're not that national championship contending team that they were. But they were still a solid team. But for them to dismantle San Diego State like that is absolutely impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really looking forward to how they do in conference, and looking forward to our March 2nd matchup against them in Tucson.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think we alluded a little bit when we were talking about Iowa State moving up in the AP poll due to some help. This game right here, this was majorly.
Wow.
This thing
Yeah.
felt like an Elite Eight Final Four type of game. Texas Tech comes back down double digits in the second half. They win 82-81, and Texas Tech, I had been a little bit concerned about them for pretty much most of the non-con, just they weren't looking that good. And I think they desperately needed a win like this. And they hand Duke their first loss of the year. And Christian Anderson, we had known what he was like last year when we went down to Lubbock, but this was his game. He took over that game.
Yes. He absolutely did. 27 points and three steals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course you had the thing was for Texas Tech, they dealt with a lot in this game. They had two guys foul out of the game. They already aren't that deep of a team, which is kind of a concern that I have. But of course, you're going to get a good performance out of JT Top and a double-double, not scoring 30 points, but he still gives you a double-double with 10 rebounds. Juan Watts, before fouled out, he had 20 points, so he was putting the ball, he was scoring at a high rate before he fouled out. But yeah, Christian Anderson, this was his game. This was clearly his game, and he willed this Texas Tech team to a massive win.
Oh yeah, and this will propel Texas Tech into conference play. So it is going to be interesting to see how they turn out. But Purdue, did you see Purdue, man?
Yeah, Purdue,
Whew, talk about a bounce back, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you get embarrassed on your home floor like that, you kind of take it a little personal. Look at the margin of victory in their last 3 games since losing to Iowa State. 85-57 over Minnesota, 79 over Marquette team, and then winning by 28 against a still solid Auburn team. Obviously,
Right.
not the same Auburn team as the Final Four team, but
Yeah.
But Purdue, yeah, they are doing pretty well. Yeah, just tuning to rack up good wins and heading into conference play. This will help out.
Definitely, for sure.
Houston and Arkansas. This one was pretty fun. This was a fun matchup to watch. I like Arkansas. Arkansas is a contender in the SEC.
As long as they have John Calipari, yeah, they made the Sweet 16 last year against the same Texas Tech team. Watch out for Arkansas in the SEC, and they are going to be a tough out, man.
Yeah, but Houston. We know Houston's known for their defense. 85 points on paper doesn't sound like a typical Houston performance, but I think it just shows the skill level of Arkansas. Darius Acuff, DJ Wagner, Billy Richmond. Trevon Brazile didn't even have the greatest of games, so but he's a guy to look out for in SEC play. But Houston, oh dear God, Manuel Sharp, Kingston Flemings, and Milos Uzan. That trio right there. I was telling myself this: Houston, Iowa State on Big Monday. That's gonna be such a fun matchup.
It is, dude. I'm excited to watch both of those defenses go at it. Very, very excited. That's gonna be must-watch television.
Michigan State against Oakland. This was a pretty on paper. This doesn't sound like a game that should have been interesting, but it was. Oakland, I mean, playing in the Pistons arena gave Michigan State a bit of a fight. Michigan State ultimately wins by 79-70. So Michigan State continues to they move up to 11-1. Louisville moves up to 10-2 after a 40-point win over Montana. Louisville, I think, can be a solid ACC team. They're in but the ACC, it feels I don't know, outside of Duke, feels a little bit down this year. I don't know how I feel about North Carolina, but they were proving me wrong after this win over Ohio State. This game was fun. This was a fun game to watch on CBS.
No, unfortunately, I really didn't get to watch any of these. So, but yeah, North Carolina survives Ohio State, and then Kentucky gets a huge win at home against a very good St. John's team.
No, this was the CBS Sports Classic in Atlanta. So these are two neutral sites
in
games.
Atlanta. Okay, gotcha.
Yep. And then you have Virginia, who can be a dark horse contender in the ACC with 80-72 win. I had to look back, but there was one dunk I would have to look back at too that I just saw out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, "Oh, yep, yep, that was a classic posterizer."
We saw you, and it's a poster.
Mm-hmm. Let's just take a look around the Big 12 after those ranked games. Kansas State, I mean, putting up 100 is good. Giving up 76, though, I don't know about that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
UCF wins 102-80, giving up 80 points to Florida Gulf Coast. I don't know. The Big 12, it does feel like a down year, like depth was the Big 12, maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
But the top of the top is clear. Iowa State, Arizona. I would throw in BYU.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think, who would you throw in as that fourth? There's a fourth team.
So I would say in order: Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, BYU, and then Texas Tech.
Okay, yeah, I think that win for Texas Tech against Duke, that has put them right back into the race for the Big 12 because they were looking dead in the water in conference just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess we have our solid five. Give me like two teams that you would say to watch out for that could be a dark horse in the Big 12.
In the Big 12, let me look here. I would first have to really look at, I'd say, I know we didn't mention Kansas, but I feel like Kansas can find a way. Especially if Darren Peterson can actually stay healthy and get back on the court, that is a team to look out for. It's weird saying you have a top 5
without Kansas. I know, it's so weird, right?
Yeah, but I think it just shows like the talent level in this Big 12. Oklahoma State is
that's one of my picks.
They've been racking up wins. Their only loss was to Oklahoma. But, I mean, we do have to go to Stillwater, and we have had some problems with Oklahoma State, but this is a much better Oklahoma State team than they were last year, and they have the same this is the second-year coach. And they've got some decent games for them at home. I mean, they get to host BYU, they get to host Kansas, and they get to host Houston, so...
Okay.
And then they have to go at Texas Tech, at Iowa State, do have to go to Arizona. So who knows? Maybe Oklahoma State pull off one of those road upsets.
We'll have to see.
Yeah. So it is weird putting Kansas in the dark horse category, but that's just where they're at right now.
Yeah. No, I definitely would say Oklahoma State, and then I probably would say Kansas too.
Yeah.
Because just so the Fog proper respect, because they can get back on the schneid and get some real big wins, because I think they have a lot of the top 5 teams coming to their building, coming to the gym. So it's going to be a golden opportunity for KU to show why they shouldn't be doubted.
Yeah, and I mean, there's one team who I don't think we should have too much of a problem dealing with. Cincinnati.
Yeah, they stink. They're very, very bad.
Now,
them in Colorado, Colorado lost by 9 to Stanford.
Yeah, granted, their game against Clemson, the score sheet doesn't say the whole story. The start of the Clemson-Cincinnati game was ridiculous. I think it was like, at one point, it was, Cincinnati only had 5 points with like at the under 8 media timeout. It was 26-5. Now, I got to get credit to Cincinnati. They did fight themselves back. They tied it up at one. Well, they didn't make it a 1-point game with 25 seconds left to go against Clemson, but yeah, you cannot only score 18 points and a half and expect to win that game. Now, they did make it a game. What's crazy? Jizzle James is back on that roster. Well, great, he didn't start, but Jizzle James is back with the Bearcats. I almost said the Bobcats.
They would have, yeah.
But I mean, that just shows the despair of Cincinnati right now. If the season keeps going the way it is right now, Wes Miller's not making it out of this year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, man. But yeah, do you have anything else to add before we head out today?
I think I'm. No, not really. Just holiday break. I'm just chilling. Might rewatch some games. I'm rewatching the Iowa State Kansas whiteout basketball game just because.
Very good choice.
Yeah, and then who knows? Maybe I'll rewatch the Cyhawk game and the Purdue game from this year.
As you should. All right, guys. We just wanted to put out a episode for you. We wanted to do a recap. Obviously, thank you guys for joining us on the emergency pod. But yes, that is going to be the conclusion of our show today. A few things before we go. Big thank you to our presenting sponsor, FanDuel. There are tons of promotions out right now, NFL tokens, NHL tokens, shoot, even future baseball tokens. Speaking of baseball, there was a highly coveted Japanese player. I forgot what his name was. Let me look back in my tweets. But the White Sox got him, and he willingly signed with the Chicago White Sox. And
I'm gonna take Murakami.
Yes.
Looks like a 2-year contract worth $34 million.
Yes, $17 million a year, and he has already like donated $10,000 to the food banks in Chicago. Already getting himself his introductory press conference was today. I'm so excited! I can't wait to watch him opening weekend in Milwaukee. Hopefully that'll be the weekend where we will be playing in the Final Four in Indianapolis. So
maybe a national title game.
Yes, maybe a national title game. I'm praying for that to happen, Cody, because we deserve it.
Yep.
Also, if you want to talk ball with us, find Cody at Tierney's Burner. Obviously, he retired Matt Kim impersonator, so he is at Tierney's Burner. You can find me, Tyler, at Sci-Tie Guy. Also, a big shout out to FeedSpot. We are a top 15 sports podcast in the state of Iowa and a top 40 most listened to podcast in the state of Iowa. So thank you, state of Iowa listeners. Thank you, everybody else who supports us as we do this show. Also, follow us on social media. We have 6 forms of social media. 5 are listed below, but we have a Twitch page. Also, we can be found on Twitch at Bleav in ISU 2025. Bleav, BLEAV in ISU 2025. But yes, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. But that will be the conclusion of today's show. For Tyler Carter.
And for Cody Vinsalem.
This is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.
Go Cyclones.